Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Shafika Bidamta. Now I want to present final project international human resource management. All right. First, next slide. All right. For the introduction, what is expatriate? An expatriate, often also referred to as an expat, is person who live and work in a country other than their home country, usually temporarily and work for purpose. And then what the expatriate in the Malaysia. In Malaysia has its own definition terms of expatriate for all, not for all foreign talent can be called an expatriate, but they must meet the requirement that include the type and position of the job. Malaysia has defined the criteria and requirement are actual part of applying for the expatriate employed pass in Malaysia. All right, for the next slide is about the issues and challenges faced by foreign professional or expatriate in Malaysia. Firstly, the issue is communication barriers. Language barriers are a problem with foreign workers in Malaysian construction industry, especially with supervisor and foreign worker on construction sites. Next is working environment. Most construction sites, however, are dirty, rough, and dangerous, with some of the recommended safety precautions being followed. Furthermore, is compensation and insurance scheme. Most injuries, accident, and fatalities can be avoided if employers take certain precaution in potentially hazardous workplace such as construction sites. Therefore, equal treatment. Foreign workers have always struggled to be equated with local employers. Like foreign workers often do not get their wages on the time due to the inefficiency of their employers and the timeless with which they make their payment make significant difference to them. And the lastly is applying work permit. Applying for work permit is the first hurdle most foreign workers face before entering Malaysia. The application process is often too complicated and time consuming. And for the next slide is about what roles Malaysian government play to solve the issues and challenges faced by foreign professional or expatriate. First, they need overcoming or prepare class for the language barrier. And next, they need to make sure before work at the other country, they need to understand the local culture. Furthermore, they need to adjusting to a new pace of life for their workers before they work to other country. And moreover, dealing with the cost of living abroad. And lastly, touch with friends and family. Friendship can only survive if both parties invest the time and effort to keep them alive. And for the next slide is about the issue and challenge faced by foreign professional or expatriate based on the chosen multinational companies. For the multinational companies, I choose the Schlumberger because Schlumberger also has a sizable foreign workforce, approximately 20% of its total workforce of more than 80,000 employees. Firstly, the custom and the religion. Difficulty to understand local dress code. Next is about addressing social status. Difficult in addressing names of Malaysian according of social status. Furthermore, is gender issues in expatriation, preconceived ideas about Western women expatriates. Moreover, is working habits. Lastly, is cross-cultural training and availability of structured cross-cultural training program. And for the next slide is suggestion or recommendation. More research and intellectual resource need to be done to better understand the cultural difference between expats and locals. it is suggested that comparative studies be carried out on Western expatriates and Asian expatriates in order to identify adaptation patterns in living and working in Malaysia. And for the last slide is about conclusion. As experts stay in Malaysia for an extended period of time, they need to learn to adapt to the local culture. Same as us, experts stay in other countries, we need to learn to adapt to their local culture also, which applies not only to Malaysian culture in general, but also to the local organizational culture in terms of roles and responsibility. Okay, that's all for me.